Get your mattresses today at Just Beds. All right, guys, we're back. It's KCP in the house, and I got the professor with me tonight. And y'all know he's my co-host on any boxing topics just about. Now, I have covered a few shows by myself. You know, I think the only boxing show I've done by myself recently is the one I did Monday night with Mr. Lopez, with the kid that's fighting for Honduras in the Olympics. And he will be back on Friday night, guys. We got a major lineup coming in Friday night. Arguably the biggest single card lineup we've had. Now, Monday night I had a pretty good lineup. I had Teofimo Lopez Jr. and Sr., which is his daddy, which fought professionally. And but this Friday we've got Mildred Taylor. We have Teofimo Lopez Jr., which is your United States national champion, 132 pounds, Olympic trial winner, but yet he's fighting for Honduras in the Olympics. Also, we're going to try to get Mr. Boone back on, and possibly we got the WBC Latino heavyweight champion coming on as well. So that's all Friday night, and it will be the last of the long shows. It'll be the last show that I do for the Big Dog Network. So that's why I wanted to get them a decent show to close it out. And everybody get ready for Sirius XM. Has been kicked back till February the 22nd because I'm moving this weekend. That would have put a lot of pressure on me to get up, move, and be ready to fire it up Monday night. Now, I could probably we're still going to do a couple podcasts next week. Don't get me wrong. We'll still have a podcast next week because we got a fight coming up the 18th, 19th, somewhere in that area. It's a UFC fight coming up. We got a UFC fight coming up this weekend as well that I've got to do a show on. And y'all know the professor isn't with me. My guest and my co-host then are either special guest of some type. The only solid co-host I have is the professor. And I also have a bilingual co-host, which is Antonio. Like when I had Martin Briones on the show, I didn't know if he was cussing me out or what. I was hoping Antonio wasn't lying to me. And but we're going to get into this rest in peace boxing. Is boxing really dead? Are we going to be able to overcome the loss of Floyd Money Mayweather? Financially, will boxing ever be the same? Systematically, will boxing ever be the same? Is the business side of boxing become so big that the fans are going to get robbed from now on? I'll let the professor give his take on a little bit, and I'll give mine. We'll both give our takes on what we think the future of boxing is and what we think boxing has to do to overcome the loss of Mayweather. Don't kid yourself, guys. Losing Mayweather is a big loss to this industry. He put it back on the... It never left the map, don't get me wrong. But at one time in this country, boxing was the sport. Okay? Now it's become more of a niche sport. You know what I'm saying? Would you agree with that, Professor?
Oh, absolutely. I think a good start would be to look at what Floyd Mayweather brought to the game. And when you talk about Floyd Mayweather, he had about as many name changes as Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And with each one, he was a different person. But of course, he only changed his nickname. Started off as Little Floyd, and that was the amateur, the really bright, shining amateur. And then there was Pretty Boy Floyd, and I think Pretty Boy Floyd really underscores exactly what Mayweather brought to the game. He was an incredibly talented fighter, somebody who had an unbelievable ability to stay close and yet not be hit. And at the same time, he was dishing out serious punishment and finishing off most of his opponents in style. But in the later end of his career, when he became money, it seemed to change. And it seems that at least in his last few fights, most of those big fans probably showed up just to see him beaten because they were tired of his version of hit and don't be hit. I call it four corners tactics, four corners boxing, just like in basketball. corners offense, whose purpose it was to get a little bit of a lead and then let the air out of the ball. In other words, run out the clock. And to be honest about it, in his last handful of fights, unless he saw an overwhelming advantage, that's exactly what he tried to do. And in his last fight, I thought that was a total rip-off of the fans. Andre Berto, and there was this one dusty old pundit who wrote possibly an interesting little piece on that, just a one paragraph. It said, Floyd Mayweather's next dance will be in the MGM Grand against Andre Berto, who has been unjustly maligned as an unworthy opponent. In fact, Berto is a wily beast. He only lost 3 of his last fights, won by TKO, to lure Mayweather into an elaborate trap. Berto flies higher than the 24th ranked welterweight. He is faster than a speeding 2-ton Tony Galento, more powerful than Willie Pep right after his plane crash. He leaps over legitimate contenders in a single bound. He is the second coming of Boom King Patch. When Mayweather and Berto lace up, the fans are in for a soporific treat. Reruns will be packaged as a cure for insomnia. And I wonder, if Mayweather didn't retire, would he be able to draw a large crowd after that?
You talking about after Andre, after Berto?
Yes. After a couple of letdowns like that.
I believe it would depend on who the fighter was, that his opponent was. I believe, don't get me wrong, I think, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Let's take Amir Khan, for instance. I believe that if Amir Khan and Floyd Mayweather were scheduled to fight in May, on Cinco de Mayo, that weekend,
Yeah.
which is the same weekend Canelo and Khan, which we're going to get into in a few minutes, folks. We're going to touch on that, and we're going to touch on Bradley Pacquiao too, the big upcoming fights, the big pay-per-views that's coming up. We're also going to touch base on it's getting ready to be announced, Tom Walfer. I've got news. A lot of y'all know that I own Fight Serve Boxing MMA, okay? The professor's also, he does all of our articles. If there's an article on the website, if there's an article in Facebook, he probably put it there. I'm getting ready to start, as of March, we'll start buying articles, start having some writers write stuff for us, and many of it will have to be approved by the professor, because if the structure ain't right and everything, then it won't go on the website, it won't go on the newsletter we're going to send out. You can subscribe for our newsletter by going to Fight Serve Box. That's BOXN as in neighbor, then MMA. Fight Serve Box in MMA.com. I mean, if you say it and it says Fight Serve Boxing MMA.com. But you can go there and go to the Contact Us section. You'll be subscribed to the newsletter, which starts coming out the second week of March. The newsletters will, and you can either subscribe to the electronic newsletters, or you can get the one that can be mailed to your house. It's up to you. As listeners, and I see a lot of people in Stockbridge, Georgia and stuff. Y'all must be taking notes and everything. Let me spell that out for y'all guys, seeing as I see some people pausing here. It's FIGHT SERV as in Victor, box, then an N, then MMA.com. All right, go there. You can just go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fight Serve Boxing MMA. All right, and it'll take you right to it. You can go to Google, type in Fight Serve, one word, without the E on the end, and the first thing that'll come up is our Twitter page or our Facebook page. Right there, it's going to be. That's all that comes up when you type Fight Serve into Google. I don't know if you've ever tried it, Professor, but we're all that comes up. All right, there's a couple of our episodes come up, podcast episodes come up. There's a couple of my live broadcasts have come up, different stuff like that. But just go there, go to the Facebook page, and I'm going to start trying to put all the articles on the website. because that way there's a link through everything. It can all be linked together and everything. And it can be like Brooklyn Fights, Ringside Report, and all that. And also you can go there to the website. You can get a link to our live coverage of all of our podcasts. You get a link to my live ESPN show that I do in the mornings, Monday through Friday, beginning March the 7th. But that'll only be if you have like Pandora, iHeartRadio, different things like the ESPN radio networks. And then you can subscribe to that. Our apps are available on iTunes and Google Play. The Fight Serve Boxing MMA Talk Time app. And buy them, man. Me and the professor need the money. We really do. And the commercial you heard a minute ago, please don't forget to mention promo code FightServe. Just promo code FightServe. That's all you got to say. You'll receive 12.5% off at Just Beds. And they told me they'd give me a check for it if enough people mention it. I hope so. So what I want y'all to do is if y'all mention it, what I'll do next time is I'll try to give away an autographed glove by I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to take the sixth caller here at 11:22. The sixth caller calls me, and that's the autographed glove we give away. Whoever he calls in and asks for. It'll be given away on February 22nd during our first Sirius XM show, guys. And so that'll be autographed glove given away. I am giving away something tonight. I'm giving away two tickets to the practice rounds of the Masters here in Augusta, Georgia. It's going to be Monday tickets to the practice rounds. I know all y'all's boxing and MMA fans, but it's going to be a call in right before you leave, and I'll announce it. I'll announce what caller number it is and so on and so forth. Okay? But let's get back to this, and he is absolutely correct. Everything the professor said, I didn't have to say another. There's nothing I can say to make him more right or to debate him. I can't debate that at all. He's absolutely correct. The only thing that I may say is, like I said, if Floyd was fighting Amir in May instead of Canelo would do more buys than what Floyd against. Canelo Khan's going to do more buys than what Floyd Khan would do, I believe, at this moment. Canelo's a pretty big draw, guys. I mean, he's got an entire country behind him. And don't get me wrong, in Mexico, there is no pay-per-view. They get it on Boxeo for free. But over here, like if they're in certain states, down in Texas, there's parts of Texas that still has Boxeo. There's satellite services that still has Boxeo. And, in Spanish, I go ahead and rent it anyway. I got Boxeo, but I go ahead and rent it anyway because I can't understand what the hell they're saying, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. The professor probably speaks Spanish, French, Portuguese. There's no telling what all he speaks. Me and him going to go buy half of Belize, and when we do, he's going to have to talk to everybody because I won't know what the hell they're saying. But now, if they put a contract out there, I'll know every damn bit of that. But I'm just messing with you, Professor. And seriously, guys, if you see anything right on the page, I want y'all to check out that. The article has got over 72,000 shares now across the country. It's also being looked at right now by a magazine. It's the Darnell Boone article, the Modern Day Freddie Pendleton article is taken off. I mean, that thing is blistering. The professor did a hell of a job writing that article, and he wrote it on just a whim's notice. I mean, he really did. We interviewed Mr. Boone, we interviewed Darnell on like a Tuesday night. Well, Wednesday morning, that damn article was sitting on our page. Blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie, it blew my mind. I said, damn, you did, Professor. You impressed me with that. You really did. And me and him had talked about writing books together before that, guys. And I was like, well, hell yeah, he can write anything he wants to write with me.
Well, yeah, I did write the article, but then I took the rest of the year off.
Yeah, guys, you got to know when this article was wrote. It was wrote like December the 30th, December 31st, something like that. I think it hit our page January 1st, didn't it? Something. Something like that. But but you can go to our website. All the links to get to everything you want's there. Also, I need to tell y'all about a guy named Crown Custom Cues out of South Boston, Virginia. Guys, are y'all pool players today? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Crown Custom Cues. That's right, crowncues.com. You can go there.